You're listening to Audiology. Support this channel by becoming a member and be sure to submit your requests for topics in the comments below. In 1783, the Treaty of Paris concluded the American Revolutionary War, with Great Britain ceding the lands northwest of the Ohio River and south of the Great Lake to the young United States. However, the British did not completely relinquish control, maintaining their forts in the area and supporting Native Americans to prevent American settlers from encroaching. Not long after the war's end, as settlers began to cross the Appalachians, a group of Native American tribes led by the Huron united in 1785 to defend their lands, declaring anything north and west of the Ohio River as native territory. Despite this declaration, the U.S. proceeded to organize the land for settlement in 1785 and attempted to make treaties that the Native American Confederacy did not agree to or recognize, leading to increasing tensions and violence. When George Washington assumed the presidency, he ordered military campaigns to address the Confederacy, aiming to secure the area for American settlers. The initial major effort, known as the Harmar Campaign, concluded in 1790 with the Native Americans forcing the U.S. soldiers to retreat. In 1791, Lieutenant Colonel James Wilkinson led a raid that, far from diminishing the Native American resolve, actually galvanized them for war upon learning of the attack. After the U.S. forces, led by Arthur St. Clair, suffered a significant defeat, Washington had to reconsider his strategy. He charged Mad Anthony Wayne with assembling a stronger, more adept army to either negotiate peace with or forcefully defeat the Native American Confederacy. Wayne readied his troops and established a camp at a location he named Hobson's Choice because they had no better option available. When peace negotiations faltered, Wayne advanced into native territory, constructing forts along his path, including Fort Recovery on the site of St. Clair's previous loss and Fort Greenville. Wayne's method was careful and deliberate, complicating native attacks and leading to a fortified line through enemy land. Despite a strong assault, Wayne's forces secured Fort Recovery, which undermined the Native American Confederacy's unity. As Wayne progressed, divisions within the Native American leadership became apparent. Some advocated for peace, while others urged continued combat. The British, noting this fragmentation, bolstered their positions, but Wayne pressed on, reinforced by Kentucky militia. His tactic of erecting secure encampments each day reduced the likelihood of successful native attacks. Wayne's campaign culminated in a succession of forts, including Fort Defiance and Fort Deposit, strategically placed against Native American and British threats, evidencing his determination and the changing dynamics in the region. Captain William Wells, who was married to Little Turtle's daughter and led Wayne's intelligence group, got injured alongside some of his team during a reconnaissance mission in a Native American camp on the night of August 11th. After witnessing General Wayne's deteriorating health during the campaign, scouts from the Choctaw and Chickasaw tribes left the American Legion at Fort Defiance. As a result, Wayne instructed Captain George Shrim to oversee a team of mounted scouts. On August 18th, Native American forces captured Scout William May, learning from him that Wayne planned to launch an attack on August 19th. If there was a delay due to building a supply depot, the attack would shift to August 20th. Alexander McKee advised the Confederacy to select a favorable battlefield, given they knew when the attack was coming. Anticipating Wayne's route along the Maumee River, Blue Jacket positioned his forces near what is now Toledo, Ohio, behind a natural barricade created by storm-felled trees. This area, strewn with heavy brush and nearly a mile of debris, offered significant protection. Unified under Blue Jacket, the native forces, numbering around 1,500, included warriors from various tribes such as the Shawnees, Delawares, Miamis, Wyandots, Ojibwas, Ottawa, Potawatomi, Mingo, and even a British-Canadian militia disguised as Native Americans, led by Lieutenant Colonel William Caldwell. By August 17th to 18th, they were in position and fasted in preparation for battle. Brigadier General Wilkinson suggested that Wayne should immediately attack to prevent the native forces from assembling. Instead, Wayne strengthened Fort Deposit. On August 19th, Wayne deployed Major William Price and his scouts to survey the area, encountering numerous but non-hostile native positions. That evening, a council among the Native Confederacy decided to break their fast the following morning, anticipating a delay in Wayne's attack. Early on August 20th, the Legion advanced, catching many native warriors off guard as they were breaking their fast, misled by the morning rain to believe there wouldn't be a battle. Wayne's forces, arranged in compact columns with artillery and dragoons poised for an omnidirectional attack, faced initial resistance as they entered the battlefield. An abrupt volley from Ottawas and Potawatomis under Little Otter and Igushawa's command disrupted the vanguard militia, but soon after, confusion and heavy counterattack pushed these native forces back. During the chaos, Wayne personally commanded a bayonet charge against the damned rascals. Captain Robert Campbell led this charge, losing his life and several of his men in the process. The native forces initially held, but eventually, under heavy assault, including a flank attack by Kentucky militia, they retreated, giving up their advantageous positions. Despite vigorous resistance, significant Native American casualties, and an attempt to regroup for a counterattack, Confederate forces were unable to rally effectively, exacerbated by the wounding of key leaders like Igushawa and Little Otter. In the aftermath, as the U.S. forces advanced, many Native warriors fled towards Fort Miami, only to find its gate closed by Major William Campbell, who refused to offer them sanctuary. This abandonment forced the warriors to retreat further north, failing to regroup for another stand. The battle lasted roughly 70 minutes, with Wayne's forces reporting 33 fatalities and around 100 injuries, while discovering 30 to 40 Native American casualties. The official report by Alexander McKee noted 19 Native fatalities, including Chief Turkeyfoot, and 6 white men fighting alongside Native forces, with notable leaders among the wounded. Wayne had his troops set up camp near Fort Miami for 3 days. When questioned about this by Campbell, Wayne's simple response was that the musket fire and the Indians' retreat spoke for themselves. General Wayne recognized that capturing Fort Miami directly was out of the question. His artillery wasn't powerful enough, and he didn't have the supplies for a long siege. So, to show that the United States was in charge of the area, he boldly inspected the fort's exterior by himself. Inside Fort Miami, the British troops were unsure if they should confront the Americans. Since they had no explicit orders and were already involved in a conflict with France, Campbell decided against initiating an attack on United States forces. Meanwhile, Wayne's forces were busy destroying Native American villages and crops around Fort Deposit, even burning down Alexander McKee's trading post near Fort Miami. Despite these aggressive actions, the British at Fort Miami did not confront the Americans. Neither Wayne nor Campbell was eager to kick off a war between their nations, so on August 26th, Wayne's forces moved on to Fort Recovery. Wayne was on the lookout for another confrontation, confident in his troops' strength. But the Native American forces didn't regroup into a significant force, though small bands kept pestering Wayne's perimeter, scouts, and supply lines. Despite their displeasure, Wayne tasked the mounted militia with moving supplies between forts. On September 12th, Wayne reached out for peace talks but received no response. Then on September 15th, his troops marched without resistance to the Native American capital of Kekianga. Here they built Fort Wayne, and Wayne appointed Hamtramck as the fort's leader. By the end of October, Wayne left for Fort Greenville, arriving on November 2nd. That winter, he also strengthened his defenses by adding Fort St. Mary's, Fort Loramie, and Fort Pica to his network of forts. During the campaign, General James Wilkinson, who was Wayne's right-hand man, was secretly working against him. Wilkinson went as far as writing harmful, anonymous letters about Wayne to newspapers and sent negative messages to politicians in Washington, D.C., all while being nothing but courteous to Wayne's face. Unknown to Wayne at the time, Wilkinson was also spying for Spain and had even been recruited as an officer by them. Despite the heavy losses the United States faced, Wilkinson downplayed the Battle of Fallen Timbers, calling it a minor skirmish and claiming it did not deserve the name of a battle. A Native American warrior later shared a reflection, saying that Little Turtle had cautioned that the Great Spirit would disappear into a cloud if they didn't come to terms with Wayne. The rainy start on the day of the battle was taken as an ominous sign that they were destined to lose. By December, efforts for peace began. Antoine Lassalle reached Fort Wayne on December 17th with a delegation of Native Americans and Canadians. In less than a month, many Miami returned to Kekianga, and representatives from various tribes, including the Potawatomi, Ojibwe, Odawa, and Wyandot, sought peace, wanting to bury the hatchet. The summer of 1795 saw these tribes meeting with a United States delegation led by General Wayne to work out the Treaty of Greenville, signed on August 3rd. This treaty opened up most of what is now the state of Ohio for settlement, marking a significant moment in United States expansion. The Treaty of Greenville, along with Jay's Treaty and Pinckney's Treaty, established the peace terms and defined relations between the United States, Britain, and Spain following colonial times. Henry Knox eventually told Wayne about Wilkinson's undermining activities, prompting Wayne to start an investigation. Wayne's suspicions were proven right when Spanish couriers were caught carrying payments to Wilkinson. Wayne wanted to court-martial Wilkinson, but Wayne's health rapidly declined, leading to his death on December 15, 1796, before he could bring Wilkinson to trial. Wilkinson escaped repercussions at that time and even became the senior officer of the army for a bit, continuing his espionage for Spain. Decades after the battle, Ottawas paid respects at the battle site, leaving memorials at Turkey Foot Rock. The Northwest remained mostly peaceful until the War of 1812 erupted. Wayne's aide-de-camp, William Henry Harrison, rose through ranks, eventually becoming the governor of the Indiana Territory and following Jefferson's policy for acquiring Native American lands. Tecumseh, a young Shawnee who fought at Fallen Timbers and refused to sign the Greenville Treaty, later led a pan-tribal confederation against such land encroachments. Harrison would confront Tecumseh's confederation at the Battle of Tippecanoe in 1811. Remarkably, many veterans of the Battle of Fallen Timbers would be remembered for their later achievement. Among them were William Clark, who co-led the Lewis and Clark expedition, and William Henry Harrison, who became the 9th President of the United States. Tecumseh, mourning his brother Sawasikau killed in the battle, later organized a confederacy to resist American policies of Indian removal. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more content.